Hi there, nice to see you again. Thanks for your time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Another hair loss and hair transplant talk here. Today's video is about exosomes, another controversial aspect of the treatment of hair loss. We're going to talk about it. I get questions about it all the time from patients, so I'm going to give you my view on it and some of the laws that govern it. So stick with us and let's talk about that. So let's talk about exosomes. It's a word that's all over the place now. If you look for hair loss treatments, you may come across exosomes as an option. I will tell you what I think about it. I'm going to tell you the science behind it and what we know so far, and some of the regulations that have been involved in actually treating patients with it. So what are exosomes is a good place to start, right? Because if we don't know what they are, how can we even understand what they could do? Exosomes have been known for a while. It's not a new discovery. You know, a few years already we understood that. And basically what they are is very interesting. And, you know, I mean, I've been in the medical field as a physician for over 25 years now. And the thing that always amazed me, and every day that I read, every day that I get more information, and of course my universe now is about hair, but of course I'm interested in other things too. But the physiology of the human body is fascinating. And so, you know, you may think, going back to your high school biology or your college biology classes, whatever, you know, how does a cell communicate with another one, right? Does it go through the blood? You know, of course we have hormones that circulate in the blood, or hormones that are produced by the cells to go somewhere else, you know, but yeah, hormones are basically proteins that are designed for a cell to create an effect somewhere else. And so, but exosomes are interesting because they're not hormones. They are basically little vesicles or little containers, if you will, that are full of proteins. And these proteins are actually messenger proteins that actually will tell their neighboring cell, you know, what to do and how the thing is supposed to work. So if I have two neighboring cells, they are communicating with each other through the exosomes. So there's a little diagram here that shows what happens. So inside the cell itself, right, the little proteins are coded by our genetics, our DNA. And so once the proteins are coded, they are involved in these little sacs or these little membranes, and then the cell will bring it to the outside and it will spill them out. So here you have the cellular wall here, and it's putting out all these little blobs or little vesicles. Think of it like a balloon full of fluid, right? And inside of these balloons are these proteins, all sorts of stuff. And so the next cell or whatever, it will capture these, it'll take it inside, and now these proteins will tell that cell what needs to be done. And so that's like how they talk to each other. Okay, the language is very complex and is not the point here, but that's kind of the gist of it. All right. If you open up an exosome, you will see that it has a membrane, right? That little involvement or sac, and inside you have all sorts of stuff, like I said, proteins and whatnot. So very interesting little things. And so then we know that, okay, let's think about that. So if we can have these little signaling molecules or signaling vesicles, if we can harvest them, if we can get a lot of them, like billions of them, into a little volume of liquid, and we inject them into areas that are sick, for example, areas that the hair is losing, if the hair is losing and going away, maybe we can make the hair better. Maybe we can make other things better, right? Makes sense, because cells are going to receive these little communicating signals. Maybe these signals will tell the cells to grow better, and so there you go, hair that looks thicker and fuller. Well, if you look on the internet, you will see all sorts of claims that, yeah, it's amazing, exosomes work really well, this is the next treatment for hair loss, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So what's the real science behind it? The real science is nobody knows for sure, okay? There are a lot of articles on exosomes out there, some of them on hair loss. Some of them show results, some of them show questionable results. Nobody knows for sure. There's not a wealth of scientific data as of the recording of this video that tell us to be sure that we can expect X, Y, or Z if we implant or if we add these exosomes. So what you do is you buy these exosomes from a factory, so they're not You can use exosomes that were produced from other cells that are not your cells because they don't carry any genetic material, so it's not going to give you a reaction, or you're not going to reject them, right? So you can buy these exosomes, they sell in a vial, and different companies produce different numbers of exosomes per unit of volume, and so you can buy them and you can bring the patient in and inject into the scalp, and then away you go, and you expect them to work. The problem is that as of right now, in the US, it is not legal to do exosomes unless you don't care about what the FDA says. As a physician, of course I do, because they are the government agency that regulates what I can do to my patients, right? And this is different than using, say, medications in an off-label use. So what I mean by off-label use, let's say minoxidil, for example, right? I talked about it in another video. Minoxidil, which is the ingredient in Rogaine, the topical hair loss treatment, is also available in a pill. The pill version of minoxidil is even older than the topical version of minoxidil and is used to treat high blood pressure. Not anymore, because there are better medications to treat blood pressure, but that was the original FDA approval of minoxidil. It was for hypertension, the pill. The FDA approval for the topical minoxidil is to treat male and female pattern baldness, okay? That's what the FDA has approved them for. I can, as a physician, I can totally, legally do minoxidil pill to treat hair loss. It's not the FDA approval that it received, but it's an off-label use. So that means it's okay for me, it's perfectly legal for me to prescribe minoxidil, for example, to treat hair loss, even though the FDA approval was for hypertension. That's called off-label use. We as physicians use it all the time, and we're not breaking any laws, okay? The problem with the exosomes is that the FDA, as of the recording of this video, of course it can change, right, considers exosomes a form of regenerative medicine, okay? And that encompasses a lot of stuff. And so what they say is that it is not legal for a practice to inject exosomes to treat patients, because exosomes are considered a medication and it has not been FDA approved yet for human use. The only exception to the rule is if you do it under a research protocol. Now, not so simple. You can't just come into my office and say, oh yeah, we're doing a research, so let me inject it for you, and there's no research going on, right? To do a research, you have to, if you're doing correctly, you have to register the research. You have to have a panel of independent people that are going to look to see if it's safe. It's called an IRB, or an institutional review board. So there's a few things you have to do. It's not so easy to say that you're doing a research project, right? And so unless you're doing that, then your physician should not be injecting exosomes on you. That's what the law says as of today. Okay, so obviously I don't do it. I'm not going to push the boundaries of the law. And honestly, the data out there is not convincing to me, even though I have friends that have gotten some data on it and they like it. But that data to me has not been convincing just yet. Okay, that's my opinion. All right, go with what you think. But anyway, I wanted to put this video together because I do get questions about exosomes all the time. As I was preparing this little talk here, I went on the internet and I put exosomes for hair loss, and as I expected, a lot of websites popped up. Some were companies selling exosomes. Some of them were practices offering exosomes as treatment for hair loss. So you're not going to see my name attached to any of that because I don't offer it. But next time that somebody talks to you about exosomes in your consultations or whatever, then you know what you need to do, and you know more about it, okay? If you decide that physician is doing a research study properly documented and you want to be a subject and you're a great candidate, fine, but then you understand all the risks and the potential benefits for it. But just a patient walking off the street and having exosomes is currently not approved. All right? So hopefully that cleared the air a little bit for you, make it a little easier. As always, I appreciate your time with us here. And if you like the videos that we produce, click that like button. It's very important for us. Also subscribe to the channel so you can get this content that we try to put together for you every week. Okay? I'll leave you with this, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy. See ya.